Yep, got it. Recording in progress. Got it.
Question isn't can he record? The question is should he record?
Well, we have Harry, so who doesn't want to relive this meeting?
Nuggets of wisdom. Nuggets of wisdom.
No.
Well, we don't have Tim, so we don't have a secretary. So someone's got to keep record of it, right?
There you go.
Record it.
Archaeologists years from now will be looking at this and scratching their head.
Years from now, archaeologists will dig up our phones and say, what the heck are these things?
Yeah, right.
How primitive.
If years from now archaeologists look at this video, they'll watch about 30 seconds and then delete it.
I had no idea this generation were such losers.
Why did Dave end the meeting?
Why we were trying to get Bob to become the host so he can record it.
Oh, okay.
So it was a software glitchy type of thingy, sort of, kind of. I don't know. All right. I'm going to step away for a quick second so I don't burn my dinner. And hey, it's your meeting anyway, Bob. So enjoy.
Yeah, thanks.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Leave me with this group. Wow.
Well, it could be worse. It could be an in-person meeting.
This is true. This is true. It could be like an hour and a half drive to get home. So
Is the other branch of the club going to meet in person? I mean, it was like in Egg Harbor or something like that. Is that where
Possibly, I
we
think.
used to meet before COVID?
yeah, the board has kind of talked about it. I think we're split at this point. Some people would like to meet in person. Some people just have grown accustomed to Zoom, and
Yeah.
so I don't know. There's no new plans right now to change anything,
Okay.
unless Steve or Dennis see it differently.
No, that's cool. You're right.
Me personally, I like meeting in person, but Zoom is okay too.
Yeah, I kind of like both, but I'm just so far away. It's Harry and I and Mark, all of us are actually pretty far away. So
And Dr. Dan.
I just miss carpooling with Dennis. That's really what it is.
If you want, I can come pick you up a couple times a week or ride around for a while.
Hey, we should do that. Maybe we get my neighbor out of the house. I haven't seen him in months.
We'll bring him too. Why not?
that's right. There you go.
What a trip that's going to be.
Yeah. Just tell your wives. Just tell your wives. Yeah, we're going to the SJAC meeting. We'll see you in a couple hours.
I'll just tell him going to ride around with Steve. She doesn't have a problem with that.
So are these clouds finally going to clear anytime soon?
Maybe Saturday for a little bit, but
Yeah. I mean, tonight's going to be iffy, but lots of moon. So
yeah. Well, Saturday's full moon, I think, at least close to it.
yeah, it's close. Yeah. So
I'm actually doing a collimation workshop with the DVAA club on Saturday. So all we need is enough clear sky to poke through the clouds just to collimate. So
Yeah, there you go. Just need 1 star.
all right.
You're using an artificial star to collimate?
Me? No.
Yeah,
I have, yeah.
It works, right? Sort of.
Yeah, in fact, interesting you mentioned that. So my 8-inch SCT, I used to have trouble doing it outside just because it was just a pain. And the seeing's not that great. And so I came across this article where this guy said, you take like a secondary mirror from an SCT, which is spherical, and because in your house there may not be enough space for an artificial star. An artificial star is a little tiny flashlight with a pinhole in it, and but for an SCT, for an 8-inch SCT, I think the calculation was you had to be like 300 and something feet away or something like that.
Oh.
But so what this guy did was, if you take the artificial star and you put it near the secondary mirror and shine it into the secondary mirror, the reflection off that, because it's a spherical mirror, makes it even smaller, as if it was further away. Plus you get twice the distance, so you can put the spherical mirror like down the hall, and if you line it up right. So I've done that, and it worked pretty well for my 8-inch. But since then I've been using some software called MetaGuide. I think it's called MetaGuide. Yeah, MetaGuide, where you just point at the zenith, find a star, and this you plug your camera into your laptop or whatever, and then run MetaGuide, and it actually shows, as you focus the star, it shows you the diffraction pattern. And then what you do is, all you need to do is adjust the 3 screws on the behind the secondary, to move so that the star just gets into the center of the box, and it works great. So I've been doing that. It's a little bit faster. It's easy if the scope's already set up outside rather than bring it in to do it.
Yeah.
So,
And that's Windows software, MetaGuide?
it is, yeah.
Mega.
Yeah. So everybody doing okay?
Mm-hmm.
Good. I wanted to ask if anybody had problems, either just for future reference, if anybody had problems submitting images or voting.
Nope.
Nope.
Do you know who voted?
I do.
Did I vote?
You did.
Okay, no problems.
There's something that I see there. I opened up the images. I haven't voted yet. There's something saying I need an invite by someone. Is that, can I just ignore that? Is there a way to vote with? No? Okay.
I don't, well, see, David called me a little while ago about this. David's experiencing the same thing. I was under the impression, and I thought I tested it, that if you took each link is unique to you. If you take that link and you go there, I thought you could see the images, but you could not vote, and then go away and go back with the same link and vote. David says he can't do that. So it sounds like you're getting the same behavior that he did.
Okay.
So I may have to send out a note saying, if that happens to you, I got to send you a new link.
Oh, I get it. Okay. Once you open it and close it, then you actually need a new link to vote.
Maybe. I thought I
Oh.
tested that, but
I didn't need to do that because I went in a couple times. I went and looked at the images just to see if I could see them. And then I got distracted at work. I closed out of it. I went back in a little bit later and the link was no good. So I had to just go back to the email you initially sent and click on the link again. And when I did that, away it went. So then I voted the second time I went in there.
oh, so
But
you
didn't-
went, so you went back to it without going back to the email? You just like you hit refresh or something, or?
No, I went back to the email.
And that worked.
Yes.
Okay. Did you ever get a message that said something about you needing, this invitation's already been used or something like that?
Not that I recall, no.
Okay. I wonder.
Actually, you know what though? I did, but it was after I voted. So I voted and then I went back in to see if I could see the images just to look at them again. And it said, oh, this invitation has already been used.
Yeah,
So
that's what's supposed to
Oh.
happen. Yeah, that's what's supposed to
Okay.
happen.
Okay.
All right, so let me go to my,
Maybe I voted and didn't know I voted.
well, I can tell you that. Hold on. There are 24 votes in the nightscapes. And I see a vote from Mark. I see a vote from nobody else on this call, or at least for that one image. And hold on. I see a vote from Dennis. See a vote from Steve. So that's everybody on the call except David.
So that's just the nightscapes voting though.
That's just the nightscapes, and I'll go back to the other ones. So for the deep sky, there's 23 votes. And this one will take me a while to check out. I see Mr. Brown's vote. I see Mark's vote. I see Michelle's vote. I see Dennis's vote. Yeah, I don't see David. I don't see any votes from you. So let me go find my links and see what happens. I click on mine because I haven't voted. Don't plan to. All right, let me try this one. Yeah, so I don't remember for sure. I'm getting that same message. There's an active invitation session from a previous opened invitation link.
Oh.
Oh, wait a minute. So if you use this new invitation, you'll be logged out of your previous invitation session and cannot resume. So if I follow a new invitation, yeah, I can see the images and I can vote.
Really? Because I just re-clicked on the Deep Sky Object link in the original email, and it says new invitation link.
Yeah, well, that's because you voted.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's normal. I haven't voted, so I'm gonna close this browser tab, and I'm gonna open a new one, and I'm gonna paste and go again. And again, I can see the images and the stars that haven't been filled in are there, so I could click on one if I wanted. So I don't know what's going on, but David, I can send you new links. You're the only one that's.
Here's the question. What browser is everybody using?
I have Firefox.
Safari.
Oh,
What did you use, Steve?
I did mine on the phone, so the Apple's, I guess Safari, I guess it must have been.
Okay, I'm using Microsoft Edge, so it could be a
yeah.
browser issue. Yeah, if I here you go.
Harry, so you have not voted yet?
No, I've not.
Okay.
You don't have me down as a vote, right? And I didn't vote because I opened up the images, but then I saw that little thing that there was a little thing at the top saying you need to be invited or something like that.
Did you remember? Do you remember where the images had a little yellow star next to them?
Yeah. Okay.
If so, you should be able to click on those.
All right. I'll try it tomorrow.
Okay.
And if I can't, I'll
Okay. And David, if you continue to have problems, let me know. I'll send you new links.
I appreciate that. I'm actually looking. Maybe I'll open my email in another browser, but it's email. The email should take it to.
It should take it to your
default browser.
Yeah, your default browser. Yeah.
So my default browser is Microsoft Edge.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll try.
I'm sorry to hear that. I mean, good.
You know what? They all take me to the same place. That's why I had more problems with spamware and junk from Chrome than Edge. That's why I stuck with it. I tried Chrome.
Yeah.
Firefox, you're a Firefox guy. Mark, you're a Firefox guy?
No, I'm in Safari.
Oh, Apple. You're worse yet. Anyway.
Works for me.
It works for a lot of people. Yeah, good stuff. I can't say anything bad about Apple except they need to know everything about you. At least Google's quiet about knowing everything about you. Apple's just like, give me your credit card, what's your firstborn social security number, and then I'll let you listen to a song.
Yeah. So, all right. So, other than that, at least from my perspective, and I mean, I made a boo-boo on last Saturday and accidentally sent out a bunch of emails with the links, and I had to send out more emails back to the people that got out and tell them, you know, sorry, wait till Monday, you'll get another email. So that was on me. But other than that, and like I said, we've got let's see. How
Many people are in the club that could vote?
119 that I know of.
And you would say we're in the 20s?
Yeah. But that doesn't surprise me.
No, me neither, but gives you perspective.
Yeah. So we have, hold on, gotta log in here.
Harry, you look shorter than I remember.
Pardon me?
You look shorter than I remember.
Yeah, it happens when you get older.
You shrink?
The discs compress and you lose a foot.
Oh,
So-
oh, there you go. That's better.
So there are a total of 19, no, total of 34 images across the 3 categories, and there have been 24 votes in one of them, one category 21 and the other 18 in the other. So hopefully we'll get some more. That's one of the reasons I wanted to make it a whole month worth of voting, is to shake out these any problems we're having with the process, and give lots of people time. I'll send out a reminder probably in a few days.
Maybe you ought to have like a raffle prize for people who vote, just as an incentive for the voting.
Hey, that's not a bad idea, actually.
Yeah.
Do we have a sweatshirt for that?
Sure.
Sure we do.
Probably have about 15 or 16 sweatshirts left. Not sure what sizes, but there's probably, and they're mostly crew necks that are left. The hoodies and the pullover, the pullover hoodies and the zip up hoodies were first to go, but there's still a bunch of crew neck ones.
Okay, well, maybe I'll send an email out to the board and see if they're okay with that. And if so, then next time I send out a reminder to vote, I'll tell everybody, hey, if you vote, you get your name in the
drawing
for the. So you can win without even taking an image.
That's right.
Steve, did you look up that person that I sent you the email about?
You know what? No, I didn't. That Hickey, I think his name was, or Hinky.
Yeah.
While we're keep going, I'm going to grab my laptop.
Okay. Well, while you're doing that,
Let me tell you a story of what happened to me yesterday.
Go for it.
I'm at the place where I bought my camper up in Casey, just having them install a little extra, bracket for a second propane tank. And there's another customer there, and he walks up to me and he says, "Is your name Mark?" And I say, "Yeah." And he says, "We met at Cherry Springs last year when we were the only 2 people there for the lunar eclipse." He remembered my camper. He walked over and talked to me about it. And he got to thinking that he liked my camper so much that he actually took the photo that he had of the double rainbow that was there that at dusk on that day. And he zoomed in on it so he could see what model camper I had. So he was able to get that from the picture. And I met him because he had bought a camper, just like my old camper.
Oh, that's cool.
So, I mean, I was kind of responsible for him, buying that.
So did you tell the dealer that they ought to get you ought to get the bracket installed for free because you're the best salesman?
I asked about a sales commission, but I didn't get anywhere.
Well, nice try.
But it's funny because when I was in Death Valley last fall, somebody had the model camper that I bought, which is one size larger than my old one. And I made friends with them. They were interested in what I was doing. I went over for a visit. They gave me a beer. They gave me a tour of the inside of their camper. So they were kind of responsible for me making the decision to go to my camper. So these chance encounters in astronomy settings, just, never know where it's going to take you. Anyway, he's with the Rockland Club, and we were talking about the Star Party in June at Cherry Springs and how it's sold out. And he told me, well, sometimes a club member can't use their ticket. It's available. And he says, if you want, I'll let you know if that happens. And so I gave him my phone number. You can text me and let me know a ticket comes available.
Actually, you read my mind because I was going to bring that up. I bought a ticket and I may or may not be able to use it. So if there's anyone out there, I haven't decided for sure yet, but I may not be able to make it.
Keep me in mind because
Yep.
I'm on the waiting list.
Yeah. Okay. I will.
How many people go to that? I mean, is that like 100, 200 can
It's
go to Cherry Springs?
I think it's 200 to 300. I think.
That's wow. It's a lot of photons. Right, Mark? Photons. It's all about the
Well,
photons.
they're just hoping that you don't go because you hog all the stars.
I'll hog all the photons. Yeah.
Yeah, but those of us that like to process the stars out of our image, that's a benefit if he's taking all the stars.
Exactly. There you go. That's right. Yeah, that's right. Next time I process an image, when I take the stars out, I'm going to put it in a file and just email it to you, Harry. You can have my stars.
And then I can put them all together
Stars.
and make a new galaxy out of them or something.
There you go. You
Yeah.
get enough of them. You get enough of them. You'll get a big mosaic of the whole universe. Just stars. There won't be anything but stars.
Name the stars.
We'll create the Stars for Harry Foundation.
Help an astrophotographer out.
Yeah.
He
Okay.
wants to get so many stars that his image is just all white.
Yep. There you go.
I got a question that there were a lot of photos posted that were from star parties from years ago, and they were nice. It was nice to look at them. I didn't know a lot of the people and stuff, but it was really nice seeing them. But they kept mentioning Carranza Field, and is that I want to take my nephew's son out to a dark place, and Carranza Field, I know where it is because I know where the Carranza Memorial is closer to him. And is it okay to go to Carranza Field? Is that, or are the Rangers out there going to get you? Anybody know about Carranza Field?
I don't even know where
My
it is.
understanding, Harry, was if you were camping there, then you got no problem.
Okay.
So it was just a conversation I had with a park ranger years and years ago. So it's the way I remember it when I brought up the subject. So I think that you could probably get away, for years, you and I got away at the Friendship Ruins, which is a clearing just down the road from that.
Right.
We were there for better than a year before one of the rangers came and kicked me out. So.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay,
he's told me
yeah.
I couldn't stay, but he never came back and kicked me out.
Yeah.
So
Maybe I'll ask Daniel and see because it sounds like he went out there a lot with Joe and a few other people and Bernie, and see what he says. Can you just kind of go, before camping season starts, which is probably it may have already started, and take your scope out there. I want a nice dark spot that's a little bit closer to Florence, New Jersey, and Atzine's not bad. Carranza's not bad. And they're the only two I know, except for Friendship Field. And that was a little bit of a rough ride going out there for me.
yeah,
A lot
it's
of
not
bumps in
paved.
the road.
The road isn't paved.
The road's not paved, yeah.
Bob, Matthew Hickey is a paid member, so he is good to go.
Okay. All right. I'll send him. I'll send him a link. He sent me his email. So yeah. Okay. So he just wasn't on the list because he paid some other way or something.
No, it looks like he paid. I just shut it down. I have to go back and check why his name didn't show up on the email list. I'm not sure.
Okay. No problem. All right. Thanks. Appreciate that. Okay. Well, I have a couple things to share. One's an image, so I'll start off with that just to get things going. I haven't done a lot of imaging, but I finally did process this one.
Ooh.
This is one of my favorite. This is one of my favorite targets. I shoot it every year. This is
the needle?
yeah. NGC 4565. So this year, I think I've done better than before. I think I got a little bit more color in the. It's not a real colorful galaxy, but it's got those blue
Yeah.
fringes on the end and the reddish brown.
Wow, yeah, that's nice.
Something about edge on galaxies that I really like.
Very nice.
There's a lot of dust though on that galaxy. Did you try to get rid of that dust on the galaxy?
Yeah, I could have cranked that blur exterminator and totally blown it away, but
It's a
probably
very,
not a good
very
idea.
dirty galaxy there. Just a lot of dust in it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Bob, is that a galaxy all the way on at 3 o'clock on the edge of the frame?
Yeah.
It's pretty bright,
Huh.
but
Yeah.
it's small.
See 3 galaxies in
At
this
3
image?
o'clock?
Yeah, all the way at the edge.
all the way over
Can
here.
you zoom in? Yeah, can you zoom in on that
Oh, yeah, I see. Okay.
a little bit?
Oh, there's another. Okay.
Yeah, and there's one here
Oh,
too.
yeah. Yeah.
And then the
Big one on the
bigger
left.
one over here.
Yeah.
It's just amazing how bright the little one is on the right side.
Oh, I like the star. You should have put the star in the middle and then the galaxy off there to the right.
Star should be the star.
The star should be the star. Very nice. Very
You
cool.
might end up with the star, Harry.
What's that?
You might end up with the star.
I think
That's
what
really
the Star
nice.
of Bethlehem. It looks kind of like the Star of
Yeah,
Bethlehem.
it does.
So
Bob,
that's
did you put those on that star? Did you put the spikes on there, or that just come from the scope? Or
that's from the scope. That was my Newtonian, so that's from the
Okay.
scope. Yeah.
I like it. I like that.
The other thing that I was going to bring up was, have any of you seen anything on cloudy nights, or have you seen Weave's recent video about vibrations in the cameras?
Mhm.
No.
You mean digital SLRs?
No.
Astro cameras.
Yeah. So I'll find when someone else is talking, I'll find the link. There's a big discussion on cloudy nights that started months ago, where somebody discovered that for the cooled cameras with the fans in them, that when he would image at long focal lengths, above 700 millimeters, and he would take a sub with the cooler on, and then he would take a sub with the cooler off. The image with the cooler off was much better, and most of it was small movement in the RA direction, and it was reproducible. So Queeve was saying that he got rid of his 8-inch SCT, and one of the reasons he got rid of it was because of this whole thing of he could never get the stars pinpoint the way he wanted them, and sometimes they were slightly oblong, and it was always in the RA direction, even when his guiding was really good. So anyway, if you go read this thread on cloudy nights, there's lots of people that claim that this is an issue, and there's been 3 or 4 different, people have talked to ZWO about it. It doesn't seem to happen with the QHY cameras. And so people have talked to ZWO. ZWO has had a few suggestions, and then other people have kind of come up with their own kinds of solutions. And so I have this is a 1600. And so what people are doing is one thing to do is to replace the fan. And if actually now ZWO is actually selling replacement fans for their cooled cameras. So some people are replacing the fan. Some people are putting in rubber or different kinds of material, rubber washers in with this screen thing here, either on the inside of the case, or some people this company called, I'll have to look it up. There's a company that sells vibration reduction products, and it's a special kind of, it's kind of like a grommet thing, but it's long, and then you can trim it off. that goes through the hole. And but anyway, all these solutions are in this cloudy nights thing. So, and the one guy on there said that that he could actually feel the vibration if he connected his camera up, powered it up, and then turned on it so the fan was on. He said he could actually put his like fingernail there or his teeth there, and he could actually feel the vibration. And so the theory is that it's vibrating and causing problems with stars at large focal lengths. So I just thought I'd make you guys aware of it. This is my 1600, which is probably it's my oldest cooled camera, and I can't, with my finger, I certainly can't sense. I don't feel any vibration. I haven't tested my other cameras yet to see if I can feel it. But it, like that image that I just showed, those stars are pretty big. Those are pretty bloated stars, and that was with my Newt, which is 1,000 millimeters. So I don't know whether that's a problem. You know, the stars they're not misshapen, but they're bloated. So if the vibration was in a random direction, it would make the stars bigger. So I don't know. I just thought I'd pass it along. If you power up your camera, turn the fan on, just see if you can feel it. I actually ordered some of the little parts that people are trying to use. This is a special kind of washer. It's a special material called
Latex.
no, it's called sorbothane, which is a special vibration isolation material. So I might try these, and they're pretty cheap. So I ordered a couple of ZWO replacement fans. And so some people have replaced the fan and they claim that worked for them. Some people have put in the washers and those have helped. ZWO's only response yet has been to put a different kind of washer in there, a rubber kind of washer in there. So your mileage may vary, but I thought I'd just mention it to you guys in case you want to check out your cameras, see if they feel like they're vibrating. If they are, a new fan might take care of it, or read the cloudy nights, you might find something that'll work. So people don't see it at the lower focal lengths for obvious reasons, because it's not as critical because you're dealing with larger fields. So
did I understand that right, Bob? You're saying, do you believe that you were a victim of that in that image of the needle?
I don't
Your
know.
stars exploded?
I don't know. I don't know for sure. Most of these people have said that their stars were bigger and also misshapen. I looked at actually
Bring it back up.
I ran Blur Exterminator, so Blur Exterminator would have fixed any oblong stars. So no, that's not a.
But I thought some of your stars were a little out of focus, but when I looked at the one with the diffraction spikes, it looked tack sharp, your diffraction spikes. So it was almost like a contradiction in your picture. Now that you mention it. Yeah, see that star to the right of the galaxy on the bottom, left around 8 o'clock?
This one?
Yeah, no, go to two more to the left. That one or the one to the left of that. It looks bloated.
Well, yeah, these do. But like, see, this one doesn't look out of shape.
No, they don't look out of shape,
but Blur Exterminator might have helped with that. This one has another star, I think, next to it. So
yeah, you can see that.
Oh, that's pretty neat.
So
It looked nice and round.
I mean, way over in the corner. But see, Blur Exterminator does a lot to fix that. So I'd have to go back and look at the original subs to be sure.
Look at your bright star at the top to look how tack sharp your refraction spikes are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where'd it go?
There you go. I mean, your focus was spot on.
Yeah, it was okay.
Some Some people you just can't please them. Yeah, you go to the white one, that'll definitely show it.
Yeah, but you see, and this is interesting because there's a guy that works for Los Mondi that is a real good ass photographer, and he has the same Newtonian that I have, and I had asked him a bunch of questions about it when I was buying it, and he was saying how he is not the one thing he's not happy with is the diffraction, and I said, what's wrong with it? And he said, yeah, the main diffraction's fine, but you see these other ones in here in between?
Yeah, they're not 100% square.
Well, those are reflections from
Oh,
either inside the scope or around the mirror or from the secondary, or so.
are you talking about the black area or the white area and the
No,
inside?
this extra small
Yes.
spike here, and there's 4 of them, and there's also even smaller ones in between. I've seen on other images. So anyway,
Do you see the black area in between them?
here,
Yeah, there and on the other side.
here,
No, I didn't really see it there, but there.
yeah.
What do you think causes that?
I don't know.
Peace.
Dark energy.
The final frontier.
It's the one.
Bob, I like the diffraction spikes. To me, it just kind of throws a little bit of extra texture in the photo or something. But if you wanted to not have diffraction spikes, can you get rid of them? Is there a way to process them out?
I'm sure there is. I like them too, so I wouldn't take them out.
Okay.
And some people like Jim Nash, they actually put them in, even if
Yeah, I
even
heard
if the
that.
scope doesn't.
Yeah.
So
You put thread across the telescope or something.
yeah,
Somebody told me you can put threads across the telescope and it'll give you diffraction spikes, kind of like a cotton off mask.
yeah, I think you can do that too, but Jim has some software that does it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't like every star with a diffraction spike. I
Right.
like what you got here. It's like just enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's only the bright ones that do it.
Oh, okay.
You can see down here, this one down here is kind of sort of medium. See
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
And this one here, you can just barely
Yeah.
see it. It's not until they get really bright that you see them. So anyway, so before I forget, just this sort of FYI. So the board had been talking about finding a place to put the recordings of this meeting and other things club related, and so I'm working on a YouTube channel. I won't even it's not even worth showing to you at this point, but I've got all the previous videos on there now, and I got to clean it up and finish it, and then and if anyone on this call would just like love to like kind of shepherd the YouTube channel for the club, let David know.
What do you mean, shepherd? Can you elaborate on that? Because it's kind of like self-running. You upload the picture and
Yeah, but you know, I have a grander vision. I just don't have the time for it. I have a grander vision for that. I think we'd use it for like training videos for you know, beginner either visual astronomers or astrophotographers. We could use it for putting videos of the, you know, of the star parties up there and the sky watches. There's a lot we could do with it, but
well, if we know somebody, and I think most of you guys are involved, know that we're doing an education initiative, and Wayne Ernst is taking the lead on that. He might be YouTube savvy enough to maybe create channels within the channel, if I'm saying that properly. I know other YouTubers, you can go to different areas within their channel.
yeah, no, I mean, I'm familiar enough. I mean, I know how to do it. I just don't know whether I have the time to do it justice. That's all. Between some of the other things I'm doing.
Well, Bob, you know, if you can show me, I could definitely at least get it started.
Yeah, well, let me clean up the ones that are up there, and I know there's a lot of information that needs to be put there, but and I'm not ready to hand it over yet, but it would be good if there was someone that wanted to kind of.
Dennis, do you have a YouTube channel?
No,
I got a YouTube channel. Anybody else got a YouTube channel?
what does that mean?
You can go to my channel and look at whatever videos I've put up there. And most of them are from my children when they were in theatrical times in high school and college, and a couple other events. So this way I kind of made it kind of private, or select people. Like I would have to send it to the college administrator. My daughter graduated from Montclair State, and
I uploaded a couple of videos, but nobody can look at it but me. I mean, my computer. I went try to look at a different computer, and it won't come up.
Gotcha. Yeah, you can control the settings.
Well, I think it's because I infringed on the Beatles' copyright for their songs. That was
That's why. Yeah, that's why.
I'm the one to look at.
Yeah, my wife's a very active YouTuber, and she learned all those rules. Yeah, if you put anybody's song on there, it will kick you right off.
The greedy bastards. It ain't even them. Sony owns it. Sony owns their rights, basically. Anyway,
I had that problem with when I uploaded a choir singing a song, and it made a specific notation that there was a copyright infringement. I go, it's a college choir. It's not an individual trying to make money. It's a class.
Well, it could have been the composer's copyright.
It could have been, but they left it up there, but they just made note of it. And I thought that was interesting. I didn't care.
There was something on the news today about copyright infringement, and I forget who the artist is. It's one of these newer guys, John Legend or somebody like that. And I guess Marvin Gaye's estate was suing him, and because
it wasn't. It was Marvin. Go ahead. It was who knows it?
That's the redheaded guy from
Ed Sheeran.
Ed Sheeran.
That's the guy. Yeah.
Yeah, he won that suit.
Oh, did he?
Right. Yeah, because they said, hey, it's basically a standard chord progression, and
Sure.
if you can't use a 1-4-5 chord progression, if that's copyrighted, then nobody will ever write another song. So
yeah,
Right.
play so many notes.
Good. I'm glad he won. So this YouTube channel you're talking about, Bob, will be kind of like
This is all.
fun with flags.
This is all that's there so far, and this is. I mean, this image I just threw something in there and put the logo in there, and this was. I don't know whether this will play over the Zoom, but
Yeah,
this is from our very first meeting back in February of last year.
That's pretty cool. Mark, it needs a little Star Wars music.
Can't do that.
You remember that, right?
We can't do that.
Harry's making a reference to when we used to bootleg videos and we were employed in
Yeah.
cables.
what if you played
When
it
I
with
say
a
bootleg, we weren't
kazoo?
selling anything. We were just,
Hey, there's Harry. All right. There's Harry. There's Dennis and Harry.
Okay, so
And there's me
in a
talking.
minute, I think it'd be good to go around. I know some of you, not all of you. Some of you I think are new to
Why is
the others
Why is it not let
have
me
been around a long
stopping?
time.
There we go. All right. So who else has got something to ask about, share about, brag about? Go for it.
So I've been collecting all the equipment over the last couple months, and I have the new camera. I got one of these guys. I got, I don't know, a couple other bits and pieces. And my first thing I encountered was, how do I power this? How do I power this up? I see there's a bunch of cables, and I'm thinking that this is the power cable, but
Yep.
I would think there would be like a cigarette lighter adapter on one end.
Well, most battery power sources have a 12-volt out, so that cable will go directly to a battery that has a 12-volt out.
Here's an example of this is like a power brick thing for
Yeah.
charging. And it has an output here, which is that I think they call it RCA or whatever connector.
Yeah,
And this puts out 12 volts.
okay. Well, what I have that I use with my T3i and the mount and everything was a big battery pack that I put together. It has two lithium polymer batteries in it. And while they do have, I think they probably do have that type of plug. If I plug that into it, then that's all that'll run. It won't run, I can't connect anything else to it.
Well,
So
what I do is I power my mount, and then I power my ASI Air computer from the power out on my mount. So I can run one 12-volt cable from my battery to my mount, and then everything else runs off the 12 volts going to the ASI Air. My camera, my dew heaters, everything.
okay.
That's if your mount has a 12-volt out.
Correct.
Yeah, mine doesn't.
If you're talking about your Gemini, Steve, it doesn't.
It does not. Okay.
But you can do the opposite. You can power the ASI Air and then run 12 volts out of the ASI Air to the mount.
They don't recommend it
Well,
because it's a bit too much power draw, the mount.
I don't know what the output on the ASI Air is, what amperage it handles.
I just know I've heard plenty of chatter that they don't recommend you do that.
Okay. All right.
Do heaters draw a lot of power?
Do the what?
But you can, on the ASI Air, you can set a percentage so you don't put full power out to the dew heater. You don't need full power, just enough to keep it warmer than the surrounding air.
Right.
Yeah, I guess the other concern I would have running the mount off of the ASI is if the ASI is putting out 12 volts. I have my battery pack set up to deliver 15 volts to the Gemini.
Yeah,
which,
right.
Everybody says, hey, it works better at 15 volts. I really don't know. I just went with it because that's what everybody said. And I haven't had any problems at 15 volts, but I haven't run it at 12 volts either to realize, okay, yep, they're right. Hey, it doesn't work great at 12 volts. So maybe what I'll do is maybe I'll just dedicate one of the batteries, because I actually have two batteries in that. I have a 9 amp and a 15 amp, I think. And I use the 15 to run the mount, and the 9 amp I was using to run the cigarette lighter adapter, and then a plug for I made up a special plug for my T3i. So maybe I could just run that direct from the battery to the ASI, because I think I look at this thing.
Steve, can you lower your camera down a little so we can see what you're doing?
I can hold this up. I actually took the battery out, so there's the end on the battery, which I'm assuming will go into. No, it's got the same ends. Because I think this end is the one that plugs into the power. Through the ASI.
Yeah, so you can either get a male-to-male little plug-in thing, just like this long, but it has male on both ends.
Mm-hmm.
Or is that 12 volts that battery's putting out?
This battery, 12 volt, 9 amps.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, 9 amps will be way plenty enough for that ASI Air.
Yeah, so that'll need to run that, 2 cameras, and I guess I could run the dew heaters off of the ASI Air also, right?
Yeah, I like to, because then you can just set the percentage so you can control how much heat is going to your dew heaters.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So male to male adapter is what I need to come up with.
Yeah, they're on Amazon.
Yep.
Well, you should okay, so you should make sure those two cables with the female ends on them you should make sure that they're the 5.5 by 2.1 millimeter, because some of them have a 5.5 by something else, some other size.
Yeah, I've found that.
How do you
So-
determine the size?
Well, take that male end you have in your right hand and plug it into the battery.
Okay.
Now the male end, and plug it into the female battery on the
Oh,
battery.
this end.
Yeah, just make sure that it fits.
Oh, yeah, that fits perfect.
Okay, then
Yeah.
you're cool. They're probably the 5.5 by 2.1s.
Okay.
Because every once in a while you end up finding something that it just doesn't fit the same. There's a different size. And they're very close, but just slightly different.
No, I mean, that felt like a real, I mean, if you had to say, how does that feel? That feels like perfect.
Yeah, it
You know,
sounds
just enough
probably-
drag that it's not tight, but not too tight that it's like you can't get in and or out. I mean, it's,
Yep.
Most electricians say if it doesn't fit, hit it with a hammer.
so that would be, this would be the male?
Yeah, it's
This
male.
end? Okay. Yeah, because it's kind of confusing because the male has a hole in the middle of it and the female has a male in the middle of it. So it's like,
It is
am I
2023.
right, am I right there?
Steve, don't make us talk to you about the birds and the bees, okay? Don't let's not turn this into that discussion, okay?
Don't overthink it, Davey.
This one's a male, but it identifies as a 5.5.
Have you ever played the song Lola?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
walks like a woman, talks like a something.
Yeah, take a walk on the wild side. There you go.
It's like when I had Thump Rat at the Star Party. I took her for a walk on the beach, and she decided, even though she's a Labrador, she was identifying as a beaver and swam halfway across the lake there.
Well,
Did
they
she
do
say
have
she was
wet
going, she
clothes.
was chasing a kayak or something?
Yeah, well, no, don't. And I'm picturing scenes from Smokey and the Bandit, where Snowman's there at the pond, and his basset hound's swimming out there. Fred, don't make me come in after you there, Fred. Don't. And next thing you know, he's half waded out chest deep, carrying the dog back to the shore. I
Yeah,
told her,
or your worst
Don't-
worst nightmare is he makes it all the way to the kayak and tries to get on and overturns it.
yeah.
Question about batteries. I have a couple rock pals and they're different milliamp hours, and I use one goes for my camera, one's for the mount, one's for my computer. Is there a way to hook them together in series so they act like one big battery and I can have one wire coming out of them?
And what series?
Does that make sense?
I've used, Harry, one battery to trickle charge the one that I'm using.
That's
to
what
keep
I'm
it-
thinking.
So it
Is
lasts
that-
longer, so you can do power out, say 12 volt from one battery into the 12 volt charging socket on the second on the first battery. I've tried that. I don't know if it really gets you anything, but
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to look that up. But
Just one other quick thought. So on this battery, this is normally used to charge it by. So is it the same to get power out as it is to get power in?
Yeah.
the battery come with a charger?
Yeah, the battery came with the charger that plugs into this.
Look at the charger, make sure, see what its rating is. But if that's the only cable coming out of it, yeah, it's gotta be.
Well, no, it has.
Oh.
Oh, is that for solar? A solar panel? Can't tell.
I got it from ham radio outlet, so they, but it's got the, what do they call that, a power pole, Anderson power pole
Anderson
connector.
power pole, yeah.
So I suppose I could get a power pole adapter maybe, and
I don't know. Dare I say read the manual?
yeah, I'm not so sure I had a manual with the battery, but the charger says output 15 volts at 4 amps. That's how much the charger's putting out, that's putting into this.
And the charger has that same connector on it, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
it's
so
got-
it obviously can't connect to the Anderson connector, so yeah.
Right.
But the question is, does it also output on that same cable, or does it only output on the Anderson?
Right, yeah, that's what I'm curious about. I guess I could put my voltmeter to it and see.
Well, yeah, do you, when you have it in your box there, how do you connect it up to your output?
With the Anderson,
Yeah, so that might be your only output.
yeah.
So then you're gonna have to get that into the other connect, the other.
Theory, I mean, a regular rechargeable battery, like alkaline battery, you charge it with the same connectors that you do to use it. So,
Mhm.
certainly batteries have always, for a long time, you charge it the same way you use it. I just,
Right.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, this thing, there's an input and an output. There's a AC, I mean, there's a DC in and a DC out. So
Yeah, all of my batteries are that way too, my Astro batteries. But I'm saying if you buy a AAA battery rechargeable at the store or AA,
Yeah, you got a positive and a negative, and
yeah, you just connect it up to charge it just the same way you use it. So
yeah. Well, what I'll do is I'll put my voltmeter on it later and see, check this, then check this. I would imagine it'd be center positive.
just be
Typically
careful.
that's-
Just be careful trying to put the probes on that little center pin there.
Yeah,
You don't want to,
you heard the
Yeah.
game Operation?
you don't want to short it out.
yeah, I burned one up doing that once.
Yeah. So yeah, I always avoid that. In fact, I think I have like I made a like a little pigtail that has just like you can plug it in, and then it had those two wires that I can connect, I separate to measure.
Yeah.
Well,
That's a-
actually, if you plug the male into this female on the battery, and the other end of that cable is male, that would be safer, right? Because the two contacts, one is inside the hole and one is on the outside. So less likely to short it out there if you have one probe going in each side, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's only got female ends right now.
No,
He
he's
plu-
got
if-
the cord that
if-
oh, I don't know. Was that just your power supply, or do you have just a male 12 volt?
No, he doesn't.
Oh,
No.
that's what I was thinking. If you had a male 12 volt, then
Right.
could
Yeah,
be
if I
safe.
had that, then yeah, I could just, then I think I could just plug this into the cable that goes to the ASI.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Surprised the
and-
ASI didn't come with some doesn't it
Yeah, I
come
mean,
with some male to male 12-volt cables?
it
Oh
has
yeah,
a-
they're all the power cables from ASI are male. They might have had one as an extension, but
Oh,
most
you know what?
of the power cables are. Now I'm not sure if I'm thinking of what comes with the camera or what
There you
comes.
go. There you go.
That's, yeah, okay, so that,
That
Yeah, that
solves
fits
two of your
that.
problems. That solves your
Well,
connection problem and solves your frying your
Battery.
your power supply, your battery. Yep.
right, okay. Yeah, I was thinking those were just to run from the ASI to the dew heaters, because there were four of them identical.
Yeah, you can run those to a camera. You can run them to a
Focuser, you can run them to a filter wheel. Well, no, filter wheel that uses USB.
well, so is the focuser, most of them now. So
Yeah,
Yeah, my older focuser doesn't. You need to
yeah,
both.
yeah.
all right, well, at least I have, at least I have a little bit clearer direction now. I can start trying to wire some things up this weekend.
Should be fun. Welcome to the learning curve.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Got
Yeah,
some stuff to share.
oh, was someone else starting to talk?
I just said I could show my screen briefly. Something I've been working on. It's not images, it's related to planning for images. So I wrote the software that basically pulls information off of the internet, and I can basically say for M42 on December 29th, what's going on with with that galaxy. And basically I can come back with, well, and this is for the latitude, longitude at SOS field. This is the RN declination of the nebula, which it gets off the internet. Then I calculate a bunch of stuff. I'm not showing it all. And I can find, well, what day of the year is it transiting at midnight? And what is that transit? What is the transit when it's highest in the sky? And then for this date, at this time, what is the altitude and the azimuth for the object? And it just shows, well, this on this night this is what the altitude is over time. And so you can see here the sequence of events. You got sunset at 5:44. The nebula rises above the horizon at 6:19. You get astronomical dusk at 18:36. And then it clears the trees at SOS at about 21:20. Transits at around midnight. And then it runs till about 2:43 in the morning before it goes below the trees again. And then it sets, and there's dawn, there's sunrise. So what I was thinking, I could use this now that I've got the math here. I can actually pull down hundreds of nebulas off the internet and just run a filter that says which ones are transiting, tonight, or which ones are going to be above the horizon by a certain amount of time at this location on this date. So it's been kind of something I've been noodling with for a while. I'm using Mathematica. Part of the fun is learning how to do this, of course. But so anyways, that's what I've been working on. In the end, I hope to be able to say, these are the objects to shoot tonight. And this is when they're rising and setting. And I can just create a field report I take with me as I'm planning what to shoot.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, it's fun.
So what are you using to write that?
Mathematica.
Hmm.
It's this really crazy software. It comes out of the University of Illinois. Wolfram is the company.
Oh,
And-
Wolfram. I'm familiar with Wolfram, yeah.
Yeah, so it's the same engine, Wolfram engine. So basically there's functions in Mathematica, like one's called nebula data. And you can tell it M42 at this geoposition, at this time and date, and it'll return all the information back to you about what's going on at that time and date. Now, to come up with everything that I ended up with, I had to do a lot of my own coding to sort of sort through like how much is it going to be above the tree line at this location on that given night. So that's something I had to create. Now there's probably software out there that does this. I know we've talked a little bit about this before, but I just figured I wanted to one, figure out how to do it, and two, to get it to output a report in the way that I want it for my planning. So that's what I've been doing while it's been cloudy.
Yeah. So I guess the result could be, since what you're calculating is what day of the year does it transit at midnight. So you could come up with a table that would show a list of all the objects and then the day of the year that it transits at midnight. So yeah.
That would be the quickest way just to target. But then there's some things that transit, but they just don't get high enough to really shoot.
Yeah, well, of course, yeah, but
so that would be the second part of it is.
Well, you've got the altitude there, the altitude at transit. So yeah, I mean, you can just filter it for greater.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty close to scaling this up to doing a bunch all at once, but I'm still debugging it. There's still some things that aren't working about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, hi.
That's cool. It's a cool list. Yep. I mean, a cool tool.
Yeah. How'd it go?
Speaking of data, I've been putting all my data on an external hard drive, and my first external hard drive was not a solid state, and it broke, and I lost everything that was on there. And then I got a solid state because people were saying, "Oh, you got to get solid state, that will work well. You can put all your data on there." And that's starting to have worked well for a month or two, but now it's starting to have glitches. And the computer says it's got to be repaired, and it kicks out on me sometimes. So generally, where's a good place to put your data and your photos? I mean, is it just bite the bullet and put it all on the cloud? Is that the best place to put your raw data and your photos?
You could have two
external hard drives.
You could have two backup power supplies. They both aren't going to go bad. Chances are at the same time. So if one goes bad, you throw it out and you download the other power supply the other hard drive onto the new one. They still got double backup. Or you go online and pay. It's called Backblaze. Unlimited backup. I think it's $70 some a year.
What's it
I
called again?
What's that? I think it's called Backblaze. I think.
Okay.
I think it's $70 some a year, but I have it. I over backup. I have all my external hard drives back up to it, and I even have my C drive back up to it. I really don't need to.
Okay. So you have an external hard drive plus you use this cloud-like device.
Yeah, I have a couple external hard drives. Both of them get backed up to the.
Wow.
Then I have a 4 terabyte hard drive in my computer, which I do all my work on. That gets backed up to the Backblaze. It's a cloud-based software, but it's something I paid for. Because I was screwed like that once before. I had it all on a hard drive and it went bad. You could hear it. They're basically little discs, and you hear the arm wouldn't energize it. It was clicking. So I had to send it out. It cost me $1,000 to get it back, and I wouldn't have done that except I had grandchildren pictures on it and stuff.
Yeah.
So I ain't getting screwed like that again.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of options nowadays. So I mean, I use something similar called Dropbox, which is also, you can also back up, you can back up a drive or a folder or a whole computer or
No, I didn't know that.
whatever automatically on Dropbox. And so when I'm at home, my imaging computer is on my local Wi-Fi network. And so when an image comes in, I store it in a folder, in my Dropbox folder on my imaging computer. And since that computer is hooked up to my Wi-Fi, it before the next image is finished, it's already been uploaded to Dropbox. So it's all, now I have 2 copies of it by the time the next image comes in.
Perfect.
Okay.
That's what you want. Yeah.
But that's for images, not for light frames, right?
No,
Not
that's
for
light
what?
frames. That's light frames.
So that's everything, like, because that's
Yeah.
a lot of data. Well, for me, it's a lot of data. The number of times I go out.
Well, I mean, I don't necessarily leave it all in Dropbox, but it does 2 things for me. One is I immediately have 2 copies, and if you have 2 copies, then you're generally safe, right? You're not going to lose anything. And then the second thing it does is I don't have to go out to the scope and connect up anything to copy the files onto something to bring them inside. My computer inside that I do processing on has access to Dropbox, so I can just copy them from Dropbox down onto my Mac, and I can then run PixInsight and all that kind of stuff on my machine. And if I then eventually after I process it, I typically I just keep the masters, all the light masters and the associated flats and darks if I took them, and dark flats. I just keep the masters unless it's something that I think I might at some point want to restack, but for the sake of storage, I just keep the masters.
Okay.
What do you mean by master? You mean what you mean the original light frames?
The master dark, the master bias, the master flat, and the master light. So the master red, the master green, the master blue, the master luminance.
So the stacks, but not the individual light frames.
Not unless, I mean, some special targets maybe, but I just don't think that I do much differently if I were going to restack it.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly after it's stacked and you got that, the beginning image, the linear beginning image, I might go from there. Who knows what the next exterminator is going to be.
Yeah, right.
And so I might want to come back and, do that again. But typically, I don't think I'm going to restack anything. So
I hear you.
I
haven't. I mean, I had this idea after I got more data that I could take multiple sessions from multiple years and add them up. And I haven't really gotten around to doing that yet. So I've got lights going back to 2019. then it takes up a lot of space, so.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I just looked real quick. I'm backing up 18 million megabyte. So that's 18 terabyte, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I have,
I got a lot of files.
yeah. Well, I also have a pair of servers, local NAS disk station servers, that I can use to store stuff, and each of those have 8 terabytes. So
Is that the NAS?
yeah,
I have that too, but I hooked it all up and it seems like it's backing up to it, but I have a problem using it. And they're not real happy to talk to me about it when I call them. Because I guess that's a pretty advanced system and you're supposed to know what you're doing if you buy it. So anyway, seems to be working, but I don't know.
yeah. But Harry, again, there's lots of options. I mean, for, don't go out and buy a server, and don't sign up to, terabytes of data on the cloud until you're sure how you want to handle it. Everyone's situation is kind of different, but
Yeah.
but if even your solid state drive is having problems, I don't know. I don't know what to say about that.
Yeah, I didn't expect that to happen. And there is a function on the computer that it says, scan it, and it scans clean, but it says it needs to be repaired, press here and it will repair it. It might take a long time. I haven't tried that yet, but it is acting up. And it's just, the fact that I did lose a lot of data on that non-solid state hard drive, that bothered me a little bit. So I was just kind of wondering what everyone's doing with their, with their data. And I like the idea of just keeping the masters. I don't want to keep the raw data. I'm not going to go back, and restack anything. That's not going to happen. So that'll help a lot, just keeping the masters. The other thing is, I think I have the used ED80 that I bought have the optical train as tight as it's going to be. I had to get some new screws and some things, and I think I have it pretty tight now, where it's not going to slip. And there used to be a little bit of wiggle in the optical train, and I think I've gotten that taken care of. And that had to do with some tightening and some adjustments on the corrector. So I got to deal with back focus now, because I'm getting oblong stars. I was told that if you're trying to figure out proper back focus, you should take short exposures rather than longer ones. By short, I don't know. I'm going to say 30 seconds versus 2 or 3 minutes. Does that make sense to anyone? Shorter exposures to go for back focus, so you're not really clouded too much with the potential guiding errors or something?
I hadn't thought about that. That does kind of make sense, that if you were, unless your guiding is really spot on, then yeah, that could introduce, the longer exposure could introduce some effect that you're not measuring. You just want to measure the behavior due to the back focus.
And you
Exactly.
should need a long exposure. Stars are terribly bright, so
Yeah, right.
you don't need a long exposure to see stars.
And if you get somewhere around Sirius or something like that, I mean, that's bright. Or even I went out a couple of weeks ago and tried to just play with the Beehive cluster. In fact, I have an image of that, but just to see what would happen. And that was when my optical train was slipping and stuff. And I got, oblong stars and everything. It was neat to see that the Beehive cluster would be fun to take some photos up when I get that ED80 working the way it is. If I can't get the back focused the way I want it, Bob, I might take you up on what you had suggested with another optical train. Or the state of New Jersey just sent me a check for some kind of property tax return or whatever, and I might just buy a brand new scope and get rid of the used scope and buy a new scope. I'll have
You
to.
mean you got a true anchor now from the state of New Jersey?
I do, yeah, exactly.
too.
That's the
Me
first
too.
time in my life I ever got anything back from New Jersey. So that was that was a pleasant surprise. I thought it was going to be some bill or whatever. I underpaid taxes, and so it was nice to kind of get that. So I might just get, you know, a brand new one, but I'm going to give it one more shot now to play with back focus. And I have enough extenders now and variety of extenders that I can go short on the 55mm back focus, and I can go long. I'm going to give it one more shot. Look at the things, and, you know, probably, you know, talk to the group and see what they think, you know, post some of the images. And if I can't get that back focus where it is, I might just buy another scope. I think my guiding's good. I don't think my guiding is an issue. I think it's the back focus, plus the fact that it's on that ZWO 2600, which is a really big freaking screen compared to what I was used to, the 183C. You know, it's just bigger. Everything about it is just, I'm not sure I like it, but I bought it. So I probably
You'll like it. You'll like it someday. You just got to get these issues straightened out. So are you aware that there is a plugin for Nina? Assuming you're still using your boat anchor. There's a plugin for Nina that allows you to, it takes an image and it tells you, you know, what to do about your back focus and stuff.
No, I did not know. I know I just downloaded a plugin for a 3-star polar alignment, which is nice. So I'm going to try that, because you don't need Polaris, and it might save me a little bit of time, maybe, rather than the Polemaster. I don't know. So I downloaded that. But you're saying, what is that called? This back focus plugin?
Good question. It's a very good question. I don't remember. I think it's.
That's pretty cool.
I'll see if I can find it. Well,
that is great. Okay, let's see what else. I have a photo that I'm going to show. Let's see, is there anything else I want to do in here? No. Okay. Now, since this photo was on my external hard drive and I'm having trouble with it, when the hard drive was working, I put it on my desktop. So let me see what I got here. Okay. Now this is one I'm going to show you. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay. This is one that very few people will undertake this unless they've gotten lots of years under their belt. And I took this at the Star Party with the Red Cat just to make sure I had something. Okay. So yeah, this is a tough one. So unless you've been in this for a while, I wouldn't really try to tackle this. So it's the Leo triplet.
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
you can't go wrong with that.
Even with the difficulty, you've really done it justice. You're right. I don't, you know, I don't pretend to have that level of skill there, Harry.
Yeah, well, you just work on it. I do want to see if I can figure out a way to put some little diffraction spikes in there. I think I'm going to put the diffraction spikes on the galaxies. I think that would be a little bit different than some other people do.
Well, those could be jets from supermassive black holes, isn't it?
They could be
a diffraction spike.
But I mean, I just took this at the Star Party on Friday night because I knew the Red Cat was working okay. Saturday night, I had a lot of trouble with the optical train, the focus tube just slipping. And Bob, you saw that. I think that guy have that under control now. And then I was going to switch back to the Red Cat, and then Saturday night the clouds came in. I guess around 11 o'clock, maybe midnight, something like that. And then I have a
well, Harry, if you buy a new telescope, people are going to be blaming you for all these clouds.
Yeah, and then this was just a couple frames of the well, let me get rid of this other thing. This is just a couple frames of the beehive, and I didn't do any flats or, you know, darks or any of that kind of stuff. I just wanted to see if I got oblong stars, and I did at 55mm. But I just thought it was cool that, you know, and this is like 5 frames at 30 seconds each. So I just think it's going to be fun that when I get the scope working, that, you know, to take a picture of the beehive. I just thought it was pretty neat, you know, and I didn't try to denoise it or anything like that. But you can see the stars are all slanted. They slant kind of up and to the right on this side of the subframe. And on the other side of the front subframe, they point down and I'm going to say down and to the left towards the center point here, the beehive. So that's what I got to take care of. And the further I go out, I mean, look at these things. My God.
Yeah, that's back focus, you know.
Huh?
It's back focus.
It's back focus. Yeah,
Worse
but
than the corners.
so big, but look how big, look how doggone big these stupid.
Do they all go towards, do they all radiate from the center?
Well, yeah, it seems like, here's the weird thing. All of these on this, I'm going to call it the left side, seem to radiate towards the center. Oop. Yeah. And then the ones here on the right-hand side, I'm having trouble moving this over.
I think you have to zoom in more.
They look vertical.
Some
Yeah,
are vertical.
It almost looks to me like it's a tilt problem.
Well, that's what I'm afraid of. Over on the other side here, on the right-hand side. Oh, wrong one. On the right-hand side, they kind of tilt, you know, a kind of away from the cluster. And then there's one spot, even towards the cluster, they're a little bit elongated. Where they're not elongated is kind of when I get down here towards the bottom of this is where the stars kind of look the best, and I don't have the elongation. So I have elongation, you know, towards the cluster on the left side, towards the cluster on the right side, and this bottom down here is relatively decent. You know, these aren't awful compared to going over here. You know, now what do you mean by tilt? I don't think I like that.
Way to go, Bob.
Hmm? Is that a camera problem? Is that a tilt of the optical train or what?
It's a tilt somewhere in the optical train. Could be where the camera connects to the whatever spacers you have in there. It could be actually on the scope itself, could be the focuser. Could be a little bit off. Because usually in my experience is that when it's a back focus issue, you get the everything radiating from the center.
Okay.
Or perpendicular to that.
Right.
Okay. Well, I'll try the back focus thing next time.
Yeah.
And see what happens. If that doesn't work and it looks like it's a tilt thing, it looks like I have tightened my optical train as much as I can. So there is no slop, at least with this old optical train that I have. The next step would be to try a new optical train or just buy a new setup.
Harry, I'm not going to be using it in, probably in my lifetime. So it's just sitting on a shelf. If you want to try it, it's here for the taking.
I may take you up on that, Bob.
Yeah, just let me know.
I'm going to spend one more night. Hopefully maybe Saturday night or Sunday night is reasonable enough that I can just kind of go out and take a couple frames at a couple different back focuses and see what happens and then kind of make a decision from there. So,
Yep.
Okay, I think that's it for me.
I got something I could share.
Okay.
And see if you guys can figure out what I'm sharing. And what looks normal and what doesn't.
Oh, okay.
Nice sunspots.
Yeah, there's quite a few, isn't there?
Yeah, but I mean the big ones and the what do you call it? Is it the umbra that radiates from the
limb?
From the dark spots?
Oh, actually don't know the right terminology.
There's a name for that, but I don't remember what it is.
But over on the left-hand side, I go, That's some interesting looking sunspots. And then I looked at my sensor and they're not sunspots.
Oh,
Not all of them.
yeah.
And I tried to, you know, clean off my sensor, but to no avail. And then I also,
Can you do flats on solar images?
I would be asking you that question.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
You can do
Yeah,
flats
so-
and darks, actually.
Yeah, so
So-
you should do flats. That'll remove all those very nicely.
All right. Remind me to email you these pictures.
Well, if you don't have the flats, I can't do anything to help you.
I don't even know what a flat is. That's usually wall paint.
It's basically when, I mean, you can do it different ways, but I have an illuminated panel that I just put over the end of the telescope when it's pointed straight up. And I just take exposures with the histogram, not slammed all the way to one end or the other. And it basically takes the pictures of all the dust bunnies in your optical train. And then when
Really?
you stack, when you calibrate, it removes those defects from the image. It's like magic.
It is.
All right. That's something I would have to experiment with, but interested in.
Some people do lights just by putting a diffuser over the end of their telescope and
mean
not
flats.
using an artificial source.
You mean
source.
flats, you said lights.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've
And
never
then-
done it that way because I usually do my flats at the end of the evening before it gets light. So
Can't
And
you
then-
just point it towards the blue part of the sky? Do you have to put like I've heard people can do flats like during the daytime?
It's best to put a t-shirt over it.
With the
White
t-shirt
t-shirt
over it? Okay.
Now,
That
there
diffuses
was-
anything out there.
for those that were at the star party, Paul had his astrophysics refractor out doing white light. And I didn't know, but he had a Teleview 4X, or maybe I did know, I can't remember. But he had a 2-inch 4X, 2X, maybe a 2X Barlow attached to it. Well, I used my digital SLR, which I had threaded on a 2X Barlow on it. So I think that's what's making this white discolored loop in it. Looks like an optical distortion or something like that. I think it came from my Barlow. But this is uncropped. This is out of the camera.
wow.
Oh, that's nice.
Well, another thing that flats will help you with is coma. So if you have like an uneven amount of light coming in across your optical chain, so like the edges are dark, like a halo, reverse halo, that's another thing that flats can correct.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of need to learn, and I'm waiting for lessons because it's not, I'm going to read about it, on how to do flats. And how many flats do you need to do?
I typically do, because they're fast, they're short exposures, like less than a second or something like that, about a second, couple seconds maybe. So I usually do 30 because, but I'm sure other people have other ideas about it. My answer isn't the end all.
When I do darks, I try and do as many darks as I do lights. I just put the lens cap back on and try and duplicate the same amount of pictures, or at least get 10 good darks or 15 good darks. Would you do the same with flats?
It shouldn't really matter how many lights you take. It's really the latest I've seen is 30 darks and 40 flats. I think it was Adam Block that said that, but I mean 20 is probably good enough for most things, 20 of each, but
For an SJAC photo contest?
too late next year.
Okay.
When
So
you're
Alright.
doing darks, does the camera have to be in the exact position and the
No.
focus exact?
No.
No,
Okay.
I don't even
Good.
connect my camera to the scope when I do the
Okay,
darks.
good.
Yeah, me neither.
How do you do the darks then?
I put a lens cap on my Astro camera and I put it in the refrigerator so I can cool it down to the field temperatures that I operate at. And then just run a bunch of exposures while it's in the refrigerator.
So the whole goal of the darts is to match the temperature?
You want to match the temperature and the exposure.
Okay.
And match the gain too.
The goal is to measure the background noise at that temperature and with no light coming in. So it's the noise and the signal that you get in the camera, no matter, with no light coming in.
Yeah, it's like
Steve, you-
thermal noise.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting, because I'm using a digital SLR. I don't even have a dedicated CCD imager Astro camera, so I can't control the gain. I guess I can on the digital SLR.
You control the ISO.
The trick, if you don't have a refrigerated camera, is that you're shooting at night and it's cool. If you want to match the temperature, you either need to put it in a cold room that matches what was outside, or do your darks at the same time that you're doing your lights, but that wastes a lot of imaging time.
I used to put my body cap on my camera, roll the windows down, and on the way home, I just shoot the darks. I drive home anyway.
There you go. That's thinking outside the box.
I like it.
And it also keeps you awake if you're getting tired too with the cold
True.
air. I was gonna say, if people are interested, I decided to start uploading my images to a website, and it's let's see, here we are.
Are you doing Flickr?
Yes, I am. So, like, for example, here's some 2023 images from my refractor here.
Where'd you get that? Who's that picture of?
Yeah, what's the stock photo of? Who's that guy?
Where? I mean, on the homepage?
Yeah,
Well, upper right-hand corner.
right there, that guy right there. Who
Yeah,
is-
that's the younger me. I went back in
The
time.
goober with glasses.
So the hair is shorter. I'm less yak-like, and that. Yeah, that was like a headshot back when I worked for Campbell's. So
That's
Maybe-
actually a
maybe-
good shot.
Maybe Dennis looks like that too.
you don't know.
Oh,
Oops.
Similar.
So anyways, I just thought I'd mention that I kind of like this. Trying to, because of the zoom here, I can't see all the buttons I need to. Where is the full screen?
There was a little bit to your right. You were right there.
I think it's
There, stop. Go to your right.
It was hidden behind your
Oh,
face.
right there.
There we go. So anyway.
Nice.
Yeah, this is my original starter telescope that I haven't used in over a year because I got busy with my Schmidt Cassegrain and my Red Cat. And I decided to take it out and just start using it. And it's amazing how much nicer the images are I'm taking with it now than 3 years ago.
What is your starter or this telescope?
It's the Orion ED80 refractor.
Okay.
So it takes nice images. I mean, it really does.
does.
Is it like an ED or an APO?
Yeah, it's apochromatic. Yeah. I think it's I don't know if it's a triple or a double.
You have any other images shot with that telescope?
Yeah, let's see. Again, it's the video or from the Zoom was in the way. So this is I know out in the back of the page it says what each of it is. I don't know if it'll tell you.
That's M82 and 81, isn't it?
I think you're right.
Oh, with the,
That sounds right.
Bode-
M81.
That's Bode's and the cigar.
Yeah.
There we go.
It's nice.
You got a lot of detail on the bodes. That's
Yeah.
not an easy thing to get the detail
Yeah.
out of.
Yeah, this is the best image I've taken of it. Whoops.
One of the better images I've ever seen.
Nice.
You got that inner dust lane right near the center. You go into the center, see, look how close to the top left side of the ball, you have a dust lane.
Mm-hmm.
That's not easy to process. I don't know. I'm gonna have
Yeah,
to,
well, you know, I'm certainly getting better, both on the data collection and on the post-processing. And so I have to keep going back and reprocessing old data because I keep looking at old images and say, you know, I can do better.
How long did you process? I mean, how long did you focus, take that? How many hours to put into it?
It's all here. Let me just back to the album. Yeah, so this M81 was 91 2-minute exposures.
Okay. All right, yeah, decent amount of
and
time.
you keep all 91, right?
That's the ones that I kept. I took more than 91. I
Okay.
used 91 of what I took.
Do you use software to choose which ones you keep?
You know, mostly I just use Blink, the software that allows me just to quickly scan through all the images. And I do it looking at full field of view. And sometimes then I'll do another pass where I zoom in to look for some smaller defects. That's kind of mostly what I do. There are image processing options on PixInsight that I dabble with, where it'll actually measure metrics about the images and rank them about which one's the best, and you can kind of sort through a bunch of images by which ones have the best stars or the best this or that. I haven't really gotten to where I'm like really relying on that, so I mostly just scan through all the images. It doesn't take that long, you know, just to pick out the ones that have a bump in them, a streak, or the
Right.
clouds came in, or you started to see the trees appear, you know, in your image. So
Right.
So
Very
anyway,
nice.
now at least if I lose everything, I have the final images here, you know.
Yeah.
So this is kind of a place to at least keep the end result. And I haven't really started talking about it yet, but I'm eventually gonna put links on my Facebook feed to some of these albums just so friends and family can kind of see what I'm up to.
Now, does Flickr charge?
There's a free version. I paid this nominal fee to basically give me unlimited storage.
Unlimited storage for a nominal fee?
Yeah, I forget
Is,
what it was, but
is it an annual thing?
yeah, I'm sure it is. I think. I mean, I'm not remembering at the moment, but so anyways, I uploaded a bunch of stuff here. You know, I've got all my Schmidt Cassegrain 2022 images here. There's
Ooh, that's nice. Oh yeah.
the tadpoles up here, the 2
Oh,
tadpoles,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
and over here.
Was this the stuff from Death Valley?
Let's see. What's cool about this is you can put all this metadata. This was IC 410 Stovepipe Wells, Death Valley on October 24. 60 by 180 exposures.
No filters.
So
No
for all of
filters
my
needed.
images, I've got all this information here, and you can actually then search my images by location, by object, by constellation. I put all those tags in there.
Cool.
So anyways, I just thought it was a really friendly interface for doing this. I can show high quality images without you know, a lot of monkey business. So
What's this one called again?
well, some call it Thor's helmet. I've seen
That's it.
the Duck Nebula. It goes by both names.
Okay, I know it is Thor's helmet. That's right.
I'm a sucker for I like the blue colors. I like when blue shows up.
Yeah, and this again was no filter. This one I took on my Western trip in Utah at a Bureau of Land Management primitive.
So we have to scroll down to see the map on the metadata. Is
Yeah.
that little gray spot where you were?
Yes. Yeah, if you click on it,
You were right near where I want to go
actually
for the
these are all the
annular.
pictures. Now these are not my pictures. There's everyone's photos at that location. So when I clicked on that link, it didn't do
Oh.
what I was expecting. But
Oh, why did it do that?
yeah, here it is. So now this shows exactly where I took the images. And
That's pretty cool. Hamburger Rock.
I know when I entered this, you could show it in, I think, like satellite view, but I don't see that. Oh, here it is.
Is this a campground?
A Bureau of Land Management primitive campground. So
Right,
there's
you're
a
dry
vault
docking.
toilet. There's a vault toilet right here, right by the road. And then all the campsites are just around the edge of this big rock here. And so when you're in your campsite, you really don't see anybody else. You just see this huge, vast emptiness. So you feel like you're all on your own, but there's people just around the corner from you.
Because I was looking, this is the area I wanted to go to for the annular eclipse in October.
Yes. Yeah, I'm going to be out very close to this site is my plan. Maybe a little bit farther south and west to get more right under the center of it.
I was going to go to like Bluff, Utah, which is like the halfway point between Monument Valley and Arches National Park, something like that.
Yeah, we'll have to exchange information. I've kind of scouted out online a site where I might want to go. It's just again, a primitive campsite, no reservations. You just show up thinking that I might be able to just set up camp there for a couple of nights and do some dark sky photography, before and after the eclipse. And then the day of the eclipse, hopefully have my telescope already up and polar aligned and everything. So I can just do a go-to to the sun when it gets time for the eclipse.
Yeah, that's right where I was thinking. I hope I'm well enough to travel at that time. That's my only concern.
Yeah. So anyway, I just thought I'd show. Like I said, I haven't really told a lot of people about this yet. I'm still uploading stuff, but I figure that I will publicize it more with club members. And well, actually, what I have, some of my latest images that I shared on Groups.io, I added a link to Flickr, so you can see the full resolution images. So I started doing that already.
Nice.
Yeah. So I have a Flickr that I haven't used in a long time, but I also have the parent company, Flickr's parent company is called SmugMug.
Heard of SmugMug.
And my photography website, which also has my Astro stuff on it, some of my Astro stuff on it, is on SmugMug. So but it's branded to my own URL. So yeah, and I like SmugMug a lot. They're pretty innovative. They come up with new stuff all the time, and they're really you can tell they're photographers because the stuff that they're doing and is interesting. And I was one of their customers before they bought Flickr, and it was kind of interesting that they were buying Flickr, and I already had a Flickr account, and it was kind of weird, but yeah, so there's a lot of options, and I think Flickr's one of the best.
Dennis,
Yes, sir.
I know you have your personal website with your images on it. Did you ever look into some of these other? I remember Kelly Hunt used to use SmugMug to do her birding pictures and stuff like that. Did you ever look into some of them as
No.
opposed to your own site?
No,
Okay.
I use Facebook now, but that's all.
You don't have your normal website?
Yeah, I got that. Yeah. Yeah, I still have that.
You get any traffic on it?
Yeah, I do actually. Every once in a while, somebody looks at it.
Steve Brown, he's a good man. Yeah, if you want some outstanding wildlife images, check out Dennis's webpage. You should post it then. Yeah, it's outstanding. DennisAbriola.com. There's your plug.
Thank you, David.
Dennis, so did you put your wildlife pictures on Flickr because Flickr is a bird? Is that?
No, it's not. I don't use Flickr. Although there many years ago, I did put one or two pictures on it. But I didn't bother with it after that. They're probably still there.
Mhm.
Bob, is this Mug?
Yeah.
So you don't know you're actually at Mug.
No. No. Actually, down here you do.
Powered by Smug Bug.
Yeah, but that's no big deal.
Right. Right. Yeah. So I like this a lot, and so I can set up galleries and you can also you can buy prints and stuff from here.
How'd you get that?
Drone.
No, I was on a bridge.
Bridge.
Oh, that's pretty cool. It wasn't Cooper. You wouldn't do that at Cooper River, would you?
No,
Because they
this
do a
was
lot of crewing there.
no, this was up at New Hope.
Okay.
So anyway,
Actually, he jumped off the bridge to get that image just the way he wanted to.
right.
so.
I shot it in the air on the way
The
down.
way down.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, he forgot his zoom lens. Yeah, that's it.
I shot that through the plastic bag that was covering the camera so I could keep it dry when I got there.
You guys are pretty dedicated.
Speaking of dedicated, Harry, Dennis and I know this fellow named Steve, and he has a whole rack of hard drives, the spinny kind, and he has a dock, and he just wants to grab whatever pictures that he wants. He grabs the hard drive off the shelf, sticks it in the dock, and the dock's connected to his computer. When he's done, he takes the hard drive, and it's all external. And
Yeah.
each hard drive has a backup to itself.
Oh, really?
I do
Okay.
the same thing. I have a really nice interface. It just plugs into the hard drive. You're sitting out on your desk. And when you're done,
Yeah.
I use a padded case to put the hard drive in. So you
Exactly.
don't have the power supply or any of that stuff. It's just the hard drive itself.
Just
So
the hard drive,
that's
right?
to fail, I guess.
Okay.
And do you have a backup to the ones you use, like a backup to your backup?
Yeah, I'm still getting organized around that. That's a never ending thing to keep organized on this. But yeah, more than one drive is essential.
Yeah. It's something to consider, Harry, as opposed
Yeah.
to paying for online cloud stuff.
For a
You-
while, I was using these RAID arrays,
You want to write that down.
where basically it's maybe 2 or 4 hard drives all in the same box. And it basically keeps a copy of everything on all the hard drives so that depending on how you set it up. And so if one of the hard drives fails, you just pull it out, you put in a fresh hard drive in the slot that the
Yeah.
failed one did, and then it automatically duplicates what's on the other drive. So it's a way of, what Dennis was talking about, but it's a little more automated. But I don't know, in my experience, and after a while, they started to be more problem than they were, probably because I wasn't doing the maintenance that I needed to.
Do you have to do maintenance on them?
I don't know. But after
Yeah,
a while, I
but-
just didn't trust them.
Yeah. So earlier when I mentioned the NAS drives that Dennis and I were talking about, I have two servers that are just like that. They're each of them has four drives in it, and it's two pairs. So every drive is paired to another one, and I think it's RAID level. Forget there's RAID 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I forget which one which I have it set up, but every time you store something, it stores it in on both drives. So yeah.
Good.
What's NSA stand for other than?
NAS, network attached storage, I think.
Oh, okay.
Dan, you got that?
Well, yeah. You could even be on somebody else's computer and go look at that drive, those drives you want.
Is it kind of like a Google Drive, but yours is actually a physical piece of hardware?
Yeah.
Huh.
It's essentially a computer, but it's mostly just drives, and it has its own operating system. It's not Windows, and it's not any of the popular. It's its own sort of
Raspberry Pi kind of thing?
No, it's not a Raspberry Pi. No, it's I forget the name of the operating system, but you can do a lot with it. I don't do a lot with it. I just basically keep my stuff there, but you can host your own website from it. You can synchronize with Dropbox or OneDrive or iDrive or anything like that.
Google Drive, something like that.
Yeah, exactly. You can, I mean, there's a ton of stuff you can do with it. But you know, you gotta climb a learning curve to figure out how it all works. And
Well,
Yeah.
which one of you two knuckleheads have done that climbing and I could pick your head?
Oh, look at me.
Bob, your head's useless at the moment. You're too busy. You like have a life still, right?
yeah, well, I think since last we spoke, I've actually played a C scale maybe 5 times. So
I'm so sorry.
One thing
No, I have a
sure,
6 terabyte hard
back-
drive with a lot of data, and I want to find a better way and then just try to upload it to the cloud.
Get another one. They can't be
Well,
that.
that's what I'm saying. That's kind of like what you guys did, but how do you make it so you could access it and stuff like that?
call a network.
Yeah, you're above my pay grade at this point. I could build a box around it. That's about it.
Do you have Wi-Fi in your house?
Yeah,
So it must mean you have a router in your house.
yeah.
Do you have any empty extra ports on that router?
Comcast made me got rid of my 4-port router and go to a 2-port router. So I actually don't know.
Yeah, well,
Wow.
you can use your own router on your you can replace
I
the
split it?
router.
Can I come out of the Comcast router into a splitter?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, it depends on what you mean by splitter and depends on what you're going to do with it.
Well, like just for that purpose. Like if I wanted to connect a hard drive to it.
Yeah, you could put a switch. It's not a splitter, but it's a network switch. Yeah.
All right, so that's the name of it. My terminology is not hip.
Yeah, if you have an Apple, well, of course, Apple doesn't make routers anymore. I forgot. They don't do that anymore.
No.
But back in the day, you could plug a hard drive into one of those.
I think your best solution is a relatively inexpensive NAS box with two 8 terabyte drives in it, and just connect it to your router, or if you don't have enough ports, then get a switch, and then you just from your other computers that are on your local network, you can access that NAS and put files on it, take them off, do all sorts of stuff.
And this is why we record meetings. I'm not going to remember.
All right, so
Good, these are all good ideas.
now I'm going to start saying stuff that isn't true, so you'll go back and listen to it. And
Don't do that because Harry's writing it down and I'm going to have to call him.
I'm writing a little bit down. I got a couple suggestions on storing data, so I'm gonna think about that a little bit.
Yeah, I got the same issue.
That was helpful.
And then I didn't even know how to take a flat. I still don't understand it. Guy's saying you take a piece of aluminum or some kind of neutral color and just put it over top of the end of the camera.
No, you either use an illuminated panel like I do, an LED panel.
Oh,
Or-
illuminated. I'm sorry, I thought you said
Not
aluminum.
aluminum, illuminated. You plug it into a
Sorry.
battery and you light it up.
You get a flat dark that way.
Yeah, that's right.
So you're taking a picture of a bright light essentially?
It doesn't have to be bright. You don't want to oversaturate. And my first panel had a refresh rate that was visible at the exposures that were optimal. So I had to put a diffuser over it so I wouldn't see that pixel refresh on the panel. But now I have another panel that doesn't do that. So it depends on the panel. But like the one that I have, you can actually dim it. So you can adjust it so you get the right kind of exposure that you want.
I just got one of those artist panels, tracing panels for like 25, 30 bucks on Amazon, and you can dim it. And seems to work. So,
That's interesting. I don't do a lot of astrophotography, but what little I do, if I can improve it, by taking, I do take darks, but if I could take flats and that'll improve what I do, cool.
Either that or clean your sensor every time you get your camera out.
So that's the next one. Here's a question for everybody. So the club has a 4-inch Celestron fluorite refractor 102 with a focal length, I think, of 900. It was Conrad's telescope. And then the club also got donated an 8-inch astrograph, which is f4 with a focal length of 800. They're in my garage. One of them's got to go. I had this conversation with somebody else who's here, and I see Steve's eyes been talking about, thinking about, I'll be the caregiver. But your wife sent me a text saying, hell no, I no more telescopes in this house. But if I wanted to do any imaging, which is the better scope? From visual, obviously the 8-inch is better than the 4-inch, except on stars and maybe planets. Thoughts? How's that pen taste, Harry?
it's pretty good. I'm pretty hungry. I have to, I want to be eating dinner after this meeting. All right, this is just like a snack. It'll hold me over.
Low cal.
Yeah, make sure you get your iodine.
Or
in
I'll
there.
I'll choke
Iodine
on it.
deficiency, so.
But this astrograph,
It's
There
a
we go.
Newtonian telescope, but it's f4. It's very fast.
I've heard
And
of
it's
that.
8
Pretty
inches.
good.
Why don't they just call it a reflector? Why is it called an astrograph?
Yeah, I got one of them.
Why? Yeah.
They're pretty
Ron
good, right?
Krauss
Dennis?
used one for a long time.
Isn't that what Igor was using also?
I don't know Igor or Igor.
His last name.
Movie reference.
I don't know, but what do you think? Which one will take the better picture? Does it all comes down to the optics?
Is it really an astrograph or is it?
It says on it Orion 8-inch f4 astrograph.
Okay. So an astrograph is basically specialized for astrophotography.
Yeah.
It's specially designed for imaging rather than observing.
So what the hell? That confuses the bejesus out of me.
Yeah, that's not what I got. I got the Orion 8-inch f4 Newtonian, whatever. It's not what he said it was.
It
not
doesn't say the word astrograph on it.
No, it does not. No, it's an older scope.
This is an older scope too, and it's like got 2 rings
Yeah,
and like a really old clock drive mount.
I'll have to see what it says. Maybe it does. I don't think it did.
Yeah, I remember Ron Krauss used an astrograph, which was an 8-inch as well. Might be the same scope for all I know.
So
And
what
then-
would make an astrograph different than a regular old F4?
Newtonian.
Yeah.
No, not necessarily. I'm reading an article right now. So it says you can have apochromatic refractors that are astrographs. It's mostly that they build them so that they're very fast, and sometimes they're built so that the back focus, there's not enough back focus to do visual.
So what would you have to do? Put an extension tube on it?
I mean, it depends. I don't know. I'm not familiar with that scope. So
And the Celestron, like I said, is their fluorite doublet ED-APO refractor. It's Conrad's old one. Do you remember it then? The 4-inch?
Yeah,
That's a hell of a telescope, boy. It takes beautiful pictures.
pretty nice, yeah.
Tack sharp, boy.
You answered your question there, David. Use that one.
Well, that's f9. And you got f9 and 4 inches as opposed to f4 at 8 inches.
Yeah, I see the dilemma there.
And Conrad's is 900 millimeter, and the other one's 800. They're really close to each other.
That's focal length, but your field of view will be considerably different between the two of them.
Yeah, the 8-inch will be huge. Get a lot of photons, but I know we put that Celestron against my friend's Takahashi 102. It went toe to toe. I don't think the optics get that much better. And it was clear and undistorted all the way out to the edges. Steve.
I hear you.
By the way, if you go to astrograph.com, you can get your free birth chart done. Beautiful
Ooh.
color birth chart, an introduction explaining everything, a list of planetary positions and what they mean.
Oh, interesting. I
Gotta
still
have
don't know
that.
what that means, but all right.
Gotta have it. That should be your deciding thing. No. That's a winner.
Not really. Chicken dinner. Well, food for thought, something down the road, but one of them's got to go. And then there's a 10-inch sonotube reflector with a really crappy mount, but I bet the optics are still good. But you guys don't observe anymore.
I do sometimes. I like to just I do. Sometimes I'll set both up, and one will be trying to take pictures, and the other I'll set up my Celestron 6SE just to kind of take a tour of the sky to see what things look like through the eyepiece.
Cool. Do you hear that, Bob?
And then if Tim's out there, I'll shoot down to bother Tim. And I know Tim's pretty serious out there, and he wants to get his drawings done. But I'll go down and look for his big daub.
Him and Steve, yeah, boy, thank God we got these guys. We could still do a visual observing. Missed them days.
So what do you? So these scopes now they were donated to the club, or is that how
Yep.
that works?
Yep.
Okay. And then what do you typically do? I mean, you're saying, oh, I'm going to keep one and not the other. Where is most of this equipment stored? I know that there's some things stored in the at the SOS field.
There's only one thing stored at the SOS field that is of any value, and that's the 17.5-inch truss tube daub. Just because it gets hot in there, we ask people who are either officer or on the board to be a caregiver, or somebody else, that wants to borrow a piece of equipment, that we trust, and then we know is a responsible individual to be the caregiver.
Okay.
So unfortunately, I'm caregiving for like 5 friggin' telescopes.
Yeah. Yeah. So you don't sell them then? Like if they're donated, you don't sell them. You just keep them for the club.
That's funny you should say that. Paul and I just talked about this the other day. We should have a sale and get rid of some because we have too many assets right now. We have let's see, 1 or 2. Steve, what LX200 do you have? An 8-inch or a 10-inch?
It's an 8-inch. It's not an LX200. It's a 2380 on a wedge on a fork mount. I guess it's probably the predecessor of the LX.
All right, and then we have a 10-inch LX200 on a wedge on a fork mount. We've got the 4-inch Celestron. We've got the the 8-inch astrograph. We have Conrad's 10-inch star splitter that the sonotube fell apart, and I put the aluminum and I made it a split tube Dob. That's got, I don't use that anymore. All these stuff's laying around. I don't even know. Paul's got a bunch. He's got a 127 Mac Newt, I think, or Mac Cassegrain that we got to get rid of. You have the inventory list, don't you, Steve?
Probably somewhere, yeah. Not,
So-
I think
Sell it.
So I don't know. How are you in the market for a telescope? Boy, are we having a sale.
I would like to see, it'd be interesting to see, a list of, what you had written up or something like that. There might be something, maybe, there might be something I might want to buy for one of my, nephews or something like that.
I know there's 3 10-inches, 2 8-inches, a 17.5-inch, a 4-inch, a 5-inch. We got a fair amount of scopes.
Jeez. Oh.
there's also the one that Ray just donated. That I think that's what, a 4.5-inch.
I didn't know Ray Mayer.
Yeah,
Don't know anything about that.
yeah. He posted a while back, and I thought you or Paul asked me to go pick it up.
Yeah, I don't have much of a memory these days, so
Well, that reminds you, the $500 you borrowed from me at the Star Party. You could just
yeah, no, I remember paying that back in a big brown pile. Sorry, there's only 6 of us here. No kids, right? Dennis is on the phone. He don't count.
All right. So who else has got an image to share or a question or telescope for sale for Harry?
How about a 13-inch Dob, Harry?
Too big for me. Might be.
Well, it's not big at all. It breaks down to all these little bitty pieces.
I have an 8-inch Dob and I'm giving it away. And
What do you got there, Dennis?
Hang on, I want to turn it around so you can see it. I think,
Oh, you had it. Hold it up.
yeah, it's backwards.
Oh, I could read it.
Let's put it up anyway. Here's what I got.
Yeah, we can read it.
Oh, okay.
All right, so you got manual drive one. It looks like that. Looks a lot like that.
Yeah, and the tubes are probably the same, and they just changed the glass or something. If that's important.
And that's F4?
Pretty sure it is.
You're gonna make me get up, son of a bitch.
I'm pretty sure it is.
All right. I'm gonna walk over because it's in my garage and I'm gonna take a picture of the plate. Make sure I'm not lying out my ass.
Yeah, the focal ratio is f4, 800 millimeter.
I'll be right back.
it'd be fun to do to have an auction on some of that stuff. You could sell it. An auction would be fun. Like a picture of that 17-inch Dob, which I certainly wouldn't be interested in, but like would somebody, or is it just going to sit there for 15 or 20 years? Auction it off.
It's probably been there 10 years.
Yeah.
Mm.
When's the last time anybody ever took it out?
Yeah, well, yeah.
I had it out maybe 2 years ago.
Oh, you did?
I had actually had it in my house for a few months. Actually, when COVID first hit and they locked down SOS,
Yeah.
I ran over and took it, brought it home so it wouldn't basically get landlocked.
Yeah.
But it's tall.
It was locked down? You
Yeah.
couldn't go to the field?
Mm-mm.
Wow.
All the state parks.
Huh.
All the state parks.
I joined during COVID,
Yeah.
and I started going to the field right away. So I must have joined after it opened up again.
Yeah.
Probably.
But it had to be.
Yeah, I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know it was closed down at all for COVID.
Yeah.
But maybe it'd be kind of neat to start at the next Star Party or something like that to see that 17-inch Dob or something like that. I don't know. Or if no one's going to use it, is there a school that would really? Is there a school that would want it or something? I don't know.
Well, it has, what is it, the Sky Commander digital setting circles on it.
Oh,
So
really?
it's really tall. I mean, you need to be on a ladder to look out this thing,
Yeah, it's
unless it's at 45 degrees or less.
does it have any kind of digital setting circles? I don't
What's
think-
that?
Does it have
Yeah.
digital setting circles?
Yeah,
Does okay.
Digital what?
Setting.
setting circles.
That's pretty good.
Setting what?
Setting circles.
Setting circles. Oh,
So the telescope knows where it's at.
oh.
Right.
Oh, okay.
It's a visual thing, Bob. You
That's
know.
cute. That's cute.
Very, very high tech.
I don't know why they call it that. You're right. You're right. That's
You
cool.
figure out how to do
You'll be able
this
to
here.
see this or not, but
Is that like my mom's knitting circle?
Did I cut you off, Steve? Sorry.
that's okay.
What the hell is this? Can you see this? Anybody see that? I can't see
Yeah.
what I'm,
Yeah.
Yes,
It-
8 deluxe.
Too small now.
there we go.
Oh, I see what you're.
So well, you're right, Dennis. If I was wrong, I stand corrected. I believe it's the same telescope you have. That say the same thing as yours,
Yeah.
but it says parabolic. I could have sworn I read astrograph on it somewhere.
He was hoping.
I don't care. Maybe it's good parabolic primary optics.
There you go.
All I know is it wasn't made in China. It was made in Taiwan, so it's got to be better.
Yeah.
That's the 17-inch there.
Yeah.
No,
That is, and you can see
Wow.
where the eyepiece is. So
Yeah. Oh
unless
man.
unless you're looking at something at the horizon, you're on a
You're
ladder.
talking a big ladder.
Look at that 6
Yeah.
footer.
Need one of those.
That was my car, wasn't it, Steve?
Yeah, actually it was, I think, Dennis.
Yeah, you did 6. I think a 6 foot ladder comes with it.
I think you're right.
Can you take it to a star party and take your kids with you and they can use it like a jungle gym?
It's more of like a teeter totter. You just sit on one end and ride on the other.
If you
Yeah,
enjoy
circus.
having vertigo, you could climb up the ladder and look through the eyepiece kind of towards the zenith, and
So that comes apart so you can put it in your car.
Yeah.
Okay.
so does mine. Mine's only half that size, Harry.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Right.
2/3.
You're going to see a guy up at Cherry Springs named Tony from the Astronomical Society of Harrisburg, ASH. He's got his 25-inch Starmaster. He like lives up there. You know what I'm talking about, Mark?
I think I've seen it. He loads it with a ramp into his pickup truck to haul it away.
I think he's got a trailer he pulls.
Maybe I'm thinking of a different Dob. I saw a Dob that was just, he had to disassemble it, but it still filled up his pickup bed.
Maybe he used his truck that time, but I know I've only been to Cherry Springs one time, and the one time he happened to be there. I know him through my brother, who's a member of ASH, and he has like a small little tent city, for processing pictures and stuff like that. It's funny, my brother sends me pictures that he processes it, and like I'm going to be impressed. I'm like, aren't you a member of our club too? I mean, do you not see we got some great guys that do astrophotography? But the 25 inches is nice telescope. I can't imagine. He's like 70 something now, pushing that thing up into the back of a pickup truck.
I think he had maybe a winch or something. The one I'm thinking of.
Could be. He might have changed his configuration. I haven't been up there in a long time.
I don't think this guy was super old.
He's not even a big guy. He's an older Italian guy named Tony. You'll see him up there at the Star Party if you go up there.
So earlier, before all of you were on, Mark and I were talking that I have a ticket to Cherry Springs for this year, and I may or may not be able to go. So Mark is looking for one. So, but he's also got another friend that may also have one for him. So somebody's interested, I may have one. If Mark doesn't need it, Mark's got first dibs. But if Mark doesn't need it and someone wants to go up, let me know.
I'll let
That's
you know.
in the
Weather
June.
report. Yeah, it's in June.
Yeah.
So these are in short supply, so you could like really charge him a lot for it. Is that right?
Oh, yeah. It's
Whatever the
like,
market will bear, and that depends on the buyer.
Market will bear.
so like Taylor Swift tickets.
What's the cost of Cherry Springs now? Still $40?
50 bucks.
$50.
And what do they do with all that money?
Whatever they want.
They
Their money.
provide Wi-Fi, they provide a field, they have restrooms. and-
No, the state provides the field.
And the rest of
They buy a use permit.
Well, I don't know. They have the giant spot ones that provide. There is a hard wired wet restroom that belongs to the state, but they do have the giant spots.
Right.
Hardwired restroom.
That's what I call it. Yeah.
It's got a heated toilet seat. But a dew heater on it.
Sounds dangerous. Yeah,
I know they have the
electrocuted sitting on the toilet.
That's
Yeah,
right.
they
I
have
didn't think about that. I didn't think about that. You don't want condensation on your toilet. You know,
they have well water on parts of the camp, but it's not potable, so you can't drink it.
Oh,
You use it for cooking either. You could probably wash your dishes with it, maybe.
Yeah.
Things, but couldn't eat it, couldn't drink it. Shouldn't anyway.
Yeah.
I thought that the water faucets out in the field were potable, but the bathroom water wasn't. I don't know if I got that right, but that's what I thought.
you're still alive, Mark.
Yeah, true.
I brought my own water, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
drop there's tablets you can drop in that water, or you could get one of those camping straws for life or something like that, where you drink through the straw and it's got a filter in it.
Oh,
Life
yeah.
straw.
Oh, yeah. I've seen them.
Life straw. Yeah.
Listen, Bob, it's 9:24 and you're past my bedtime. So I'm going to cut out before my brain leaks out.
If you'd stop asking questions about processing and cameras and telescopes and trying to hawk the telescopes, get them out of your garage. If you weren't so self-serving, we probably could have stopped before 9 o'clock, but so, all right. Well,
Okay,
guys, I enjoyed it.
thanks, Bob.
Hopefully we'll get some clear skies here and the moon will go away and we can get
Yeah.
back to what we do.
Clean camera sensors and, non-vibrating fans and yeah.
And figure out where all these wires go.
And a cure for prostate cancer.
Yeah. That and how to store your data. And preferably the prostate cancer, store it somewhere. You don't need it. There you go. So,
Mine,
All right,
mine,
thanks a lot. Thanks again. Enjoy it.
mine's gone. It's somewhere. So I don't care. It's gone.
okay.
I have one.
Yeah.
Good
All right,
night.
guys.
Good
See
night.
ya.
All right. See you
All
now.
right. Peace out.